You're listening to Life and Shyt. I'm Danielle Walker.
And I'm Tommy Walker.
Join us as we talk about our journey overcoming fears, boundaries, marriage, family, lifestyle, business, and whatever other shit you can think of.
We're individuals that came together to create one unit with one mind and one goal. What's up, baby?
What's up?
How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. How about you?
You feeling good?
I am feeling good.
How many months are you post-surgery?
I am now 2 months.
2 months
2
post-surgery.
months post-surgery, yes.
No, you're 3 months post-surgery.
It was in
It was May. Yeah, so June, July, August.
Yeah, well, I haven't completed August yet.
No, you're coming into August. So literally it was 90 days.
So I'm on my 30.
Yeah, you're on your...
Oh, yeah, right, because it was the beginning. Okay, yeah, 3.
And you feeling good?
Yeah.
Super dope.
Thank you. Thank
Welcome
you for
to
asking.
Life and Shyt.
This is Life and Shyt.
And if you listen, we thank you. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you so much for tuning in with us every single week.
Yes.
And you know what? I'm super excited because this is episode 50.
50.
If we had a bunch of things. Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
this episode 50.
Hey, 50.
Episode 50,
Oh,
y'all.
go ahead, baby. Go ahead. You just heard.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So if you're listening to us, please leave a review. A 5-star review preferably, but let us know how you really feel. It's all good.
Subscribe,
download,
check us out.
hit the comments, share it with a friend.
Yep.
Most importantly. And that's the way the show's going to be successful.
Yes. Check out the wine we're drinking because we started drinking some awesome wines.
The wines we've been drinking over the last few episodes have been either black or brown owned. This one that we're drinking in particular is from the winery called Shyt, owned by Chris Rivera. And it's a great story. If you check their website out, Chris talks about his family being from where the original Aztecs are in Mexico. And how, their belief system and how he came up with the name of being under the sixth son. The sixth son. I got to make sure I put a TH on the end of that. Sixth, number 6.
It was
son.
the 5 sons, and now it's the 6 sons, right? And he gives a cool little transition from traditional to like current, now and still giving homage to the traditional ways. Yeah.
So Chris is changing the game with his wine, and we really appreciate Shyt for giving us this bottle. We really appreciate our producers, and shout out to a good friend of ours, Cassandra, whose show is going to be coming up on KPBS here pretty soon. So shout out to Cassandra for doing what she does with KPBS and sipping wine over there.
Can't wait for sipping wine.
So, and I think you got a question for me.
I do have a question for you.
And I'm ready for this episode.
Oh, are you ready?
I'm ready. My face is glistening. That's how ready I
am. That's cute. So my question to you is, do you think couples retreats fix people?
Do couples retreat fix people?
Or fix couples?
Yeah. So you don't have to be, and I'm being honest, you don't have to be broke to attend a couples retreat, right? It's not about going to a couples retreat because you feel like, oh, fuck this guy, I'm out, or fuck this girl, I'm out. But it will open your eyes to some things, right? And the reason why you ask is because we've been on a couples retreat.
Yes, we just came from one.
Yeah, so that was interesting. And everybody that asks, I always say there's two sides of the story. There's Danielle's side of the couples retreat, and then there's my side. And that's what we're going to talk about on this episode is our experience at a couples retreat and all of the things that come with just being on a couples retreat. And if you've ever seen the movie Couples Retreat, came out back in 2009. We watched that together.
We did. We watched it actually with another couple, and I don't know if this is proper, but
oh shit, that's right. We did watch it,
and it's hilarious, but not hilarious, right? Because there's a character Faison Love plays, and he's got a girlfriend, and she's like, "Daddy, daddy, 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 daddy," and a friend of mine that was with me actually called her husband daddy like all the time.
All the time.
And after watching that movie, she's just like, she's like, it just turned her off, you know, like she just, I don't know, that movie kind of like, I don't know, made her see the light, but
made her see the light. it was a term of endearment that she used, and then seeing that movie, it was like, fuck that.
Yes. And then he was actually upset because he's like, you've been calling me daddy all these years, girl. Now I'm saying you ain't gonna call me daddy with that.
Honestly, I would be upset too. If you've been calling me
all of a sudden,
and that's your term of endearment. Now, what's the new term, baby? Like everybody call baby. Yeah,
like why? That's a whole nother podcast. Like, well, why isn't daddy or baby? That's just weird, right? Like, why are these the terms that are used?
You know what? We watched a comedy show the other day, and she was talking about how her dad and kissing her dad and all that stuff and everything. So it is weird, right? Because I mean, granted, it's you're as a little girl, your first love is your father. If your father's around and all that, you know, traditional conversations that you hear. But that movie was hilarious.
It was hilarious. It was. So, just seeing the couples from every like level, from you know where they were and all the different like levels of where they were. Yeah, which is what we were in.
So when we seen it back in 2000, so that's 2009 when it came out. We were only married for 1 year at the time, so we were newly married.
We're fresh,
and we were thinking like, oh shit, a couples retreat, that would be pretty dope if it was like that. Now, fast forward 14 years later, so we're coming up. So this month will be our 14-year anniversary. Technically on paper, right? Our paper anniversary is 14 years this month. Fast forward, and the couples retreat that we were on was nothing like that. Nothing. So what was your takeaway? What was your experience in the couples retreat that we were on?
Well, first off, we were in Alaska. Homer, Alaska, if you could see my shirt here.
so Danielle's souvenir from Homer, Alaska.
I'm wearing now.
Yeah, is a sweatshirt.
It says Salty Dogs.
It says Salty Dogs.
Salty Dog Saloon. And it was amazing.
Yeah. And Homer spit, which we just learned spit
is the tip of the peninsula.
Which is just spit spelled backwards.
Yes. It's pretty cool. Play on words. I like it. But so we were in Alaska. We flew into Anchorage. We drove 4 hours into Homer, which is a hell of a drive. Really interesting.
Very interesting.
We flew out of it. We flew out of there. We didn't take that same drive in. It was a great experience. Like I said, I learned I never had created my own personal core values. So I was able to create my own personal core values, and then we didn't have any relationship core values as well. So we got to like put down like what are we about as a couple. So I think that was pretty cool. And then we wrote a letter to each other from just basically telling each other shit that we thought we didn't, or that we didn't like about each other.
That was your letter. My letter was totally different.
Well,
but you fast forwarded a lot. Like you went from zero.
You asked what I got from it. That's what I got from it. And the premises of the letter was for us to do that, and you didn't do it, which was awesome.
Yeah. So Danielle kind of made a very accelerated conversation about her experience in Alaska. My experience in Alaska was a very. It was more of an experience of being in Alaska versus the couples retreat, right? So in I couldn't relate to a lot of the content in the couples retreat, and and I'm not, I can't disclose all of the content. Like you have to be, every couples retreat is different, and depending on what couples retreat you go to, you want to make sure you understand who's in attendance, because you want to be around the people that are kind of like-minded in a sense.
Yeah, so and the content, right? The content that's provided, right? Yeah. You want to know what the content's going to be.
Exactly.
We went in, we were blind, right?
Yeah.
Like we asked for agenda several times, but that's a whole nother story.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Which was probably a good thing, right? Because, so we were all entrepreneurs on a retreat, right? So it was all entrepreneurs, and then your spouse, it was not like one entrepreneur and a spouse had a job. No, it was like spouses either working together or spouses are both entrepreneurs, which was dope. So that checked the box. That was cool, because then at least we could relate on the issues and stuff like that, being spouses and owning businesses. Now, the content was probably an area where it's like, oh, well, if I would have known about it, then maybe I would have been more prepared. But I was open. I was very open to receiving whatever that came through. And the biggest component for me was the communication component. It was the visual aspect of communication was my biggest takeaway, which I enjoy. And to me, whenever I do something or if I'm a part of something, especially if I paid for it, I'm going to find some value in it. I'm not going to complain about it and say, oh, it was a waste of money. It definitely was not a waste of money. But the value, I just had to dig deep for the value. And the communication was it.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I had a great time. We had a personal chef every single morning and for every meal. That was dope. Shout out to Chef Min. And it was farm fresh. So it was stuff that they had just picked like the week before in preparation for the retreat. It was salmon that they had just caught and smoked in preparation for the retreat. So the food was on point and absolutely delicious. They had activities planned out and enough time for us to have like personal time. That was pretty cool. There was couples that were about like engaged. So they're going to be married this year. And then there were couples who have been married for 17 years or 20 years, and then us who have been married 14. I think we were the second. And then people who were married for 5 years or first year married, or people who are older, and this was their first marriage at 40. So it was different variations of like where people were in their relationship. And I think that was really cool to see the insight on different relationships and the way that people deal with their partner and their point of life, you know, because to be like 40 years old and never have married before, and now all of a sudden you're married is like, oh, that's a trip, right?
Yeah,
that's
true.
different. So to just hear those experiences was pretty cool. And we met some really cool people.
Everybody was dope. Yeah. Everybody, like it was strategically put together. So shout out to the host that strategically put it together, because it was like you put the right people in a room together. And everybody had a story. Like, so it was cool because we was in an RV, and you know, a lot of the outdoor activities were true Alaskan outdoor activities, from bike riding to hiking to kayaking. Like, we were out there on the bay. Like, it was one of those experiences that, well, first of all, just being in Alaska, period.
Yeah.
At 11 o'clock at night, it was like the sun was barely coming down, right? So around midnight, it looked like dusk.
Yes.
And it wasn't completely dark, but the sky was pink. And around 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, the sun was going right back up. So like it stayed at dusk, which was crazy. And we didn't know what time it was until our body started shutting down. Like literally, our body was like, man, like I feel tired.
Yeah,
and
like,
we
what
look at the
is
clock,
this?
It was like 11:30.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, well, that's what
It's almost midnight.
Like, it's time to go to bed.
We should be asleep.
So that part, so just being in Alaska and experiencing that was the first thing. It was like, wow, that's pretty
true.
cool. And then the part that Alaska is so big, like it's bigger than Texas. It's big, like in so many volcanoes and like
It's like volcanoes. What?
And me, you know, I'm former military, and you know, I'm a veteran, right? So you know, meteorologist, but then you know, you seeing the nation's animal, the bald eagle, and they treat it like it's a vulture. It's like
that was a trip.
Yeah, they're like, we don't care about bald eagles.
We're like, oh, bald eagle. They're like, oh, we see them all the time.
Yeah, it's like it's a vulture. We don't. Like, all they do is eat carcasses.
That was like, they eat
what?
carcasses? I didn't know this.
It's on the quarter.
Yeah.
It's on the dollar. It's this. It's that. It's
the American
people got
bird.
tattoos of the American bird. So if you've never been to Alaska, you definitely got to experience that. It was really dope. The weather was nice. It was like in the mid 60s.
Go in the summertime, not
Definitely
when it's all
go in the
dark. Like I
summertime.
said, go when it's all light.
Yeah.
When the sun is shining.
But then too, if you have an opportunity to go in the winter, if you could suck it up, like for my New Yorkers and my people that live in the northern part of the country,
You probably could do it.
you could suck it up. My people that live in Southern California and the South, Florida,
rough.
Texas, you go, you know, just bundle up accordingly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's gonna be cold.
But it was a dope experience. So why do people go to a couples retreat? I mean, we went to a couples retreat. So did we go? I mean, we planned this trip last year. It was like last year, November is when we actually was like, all right, we're going to go. And we were in a good space then. It wasn't like we had issues.
We were like, oh, we need this.
Yeah, it wasn't like, oh, we should go on a couples retreat to figure out who we are and do we want to stay married. That was not the premises of going on a couples retreat. But boy, goddamn it, when we got there.
Before. Like, it was before.
30 days before we got there.
It was like our bodies knew a retreat was coming. It was like, let's think of all the ways why we don't want each other. Let's put each other through the ringer just so we could clean it all up and see what that looks like, right? Because it was hard. It was rough getting there.
Yeah, is that what you got from it?
Yeah. It was the first trip since my surgery. So there was that. So you didn't want to go on the trip because of my surgery. You're like, okay, babe, we're gonna be hiking, we're gonna be doing this, and I don't want to be the sick girl that's like, I can't do it because of this. So I'm like, no. I'm gonna Roger through whatever we do. And you're like, I know, that's why I don't want to do it, you know. So that was like, and then we were just nitpicking each other to death. Like I said, I had just gotten out of my surgery. You were pretty much taking care of me, and you were my everything. I was waiting for you to come home, and like, I can't wait for him to come home. And he'd come home like, I'm fucking tired.
Well, all right. So to put some clarity on everything that you're saying, it was, we came across, we were out at a hotel. So we were out on another retreat, ironically, and it came to a point where we were having a conversation, and I was like, "Yo, this is no longer healthy. Like we're going at it every day, and there was no source of why we were going at it. Like there was no reason of why we were having these conversations, and it wasn't like arguments. Our arguments have evolved. It wasn't like our arguments where we were like fuck you, no fuck you, no. It was just like. Why are you being stupid? Or why are we having this conversation? Or, you know what? I'm not digging you right now, and it's really making me upset. Like that's our arguments now. And I was like, this ain't healthy no more, because we have so much going on. There's no room for unhealthiness because health is wealth. Right. And if it's not healthy, then we can no longer be the best that we can be.
Yeah, you're killing me.
Yeah, like
literally killing me.
So that's where we were, and it was like, all right, we got to make a decision, and we made a decision. And we was like, all right, let's chill out, let's regroup, fall back, and then bring it back together. Right, and then that's what happened. And then we went on a couples retreat. 2 weeks later. Yeah.
And people always want relationships, but they don't want to work on relationships, right? One thing that I've told like my family, my brothers, my sisters, my cousins even, there's not a lot of people who are married in our like family. So I don't have a lot of examples of what a married person looks like. And then those examples that I do have were kind of trifling, to be honest. It was abusive, or it was the male was cheating, or you know what I mean? It was nothing. Yeah. So there was no real like true depictions of like what the marriage should be. And then even and to be quite honest with you, I love things like American Dad and and The Simpsons. And in all honesty, like the way that they show the American Dad sucks too. That's the lazy that you say, even though like on American Dad Stan, he has a job, he's a CIA agent, you know what I mean? He's like pretty good, but he's fucking crazy and stupid. So that's different, but not having any real examples of what a man is or what a man is supposed to be and how a man should take care of you, that means something. Not having a true example of what a wife is or how a wife should be, that means something. Like I didn't know how to be a wife. Like I just got married, and it's like, oh, I'm married now, so you're my husband, and society says I'm your wife, so that's just what it is. We're gonna do what the TV told us to do. And then you hear like, oh, don't be submissive, and then it's like, well, be submissive, and it's like, well, what do you do? Like still be yourself, be independent, but be dependent. And it's like, okay, what do I do as a wife, right? So I think this retreat allowed us to kind of reset and kind of just like focus on us. And like I said, a lot of people don't work on relationship, right? So it's like you want a relationship, but you don't work on a relationship. So this allowed us to work on a relationship.
So the takeaways, like we said, you don't have to be broken. So do you recommend people going on a couples retreat? Like, do you say, I don't care where you are, go on a couples retreat? do you have to be married to go on a couples retreat?
No, you don't have to be married. No,
Okay.
not at all.
So you don't have to be married. Do you recommend doing it married or not?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you want to work on you and you want to work on your marriage, because I feel like that's what I was able to do. I was able to kind of reflect, look at myself. Like I said, as a wife, I seen other wives in action and was like, oh, okay, I could be that kind of wife. I could be that kind of wife, or I could just kind of look at these wives and be the wife that I want to be, which is what I was. But it's like these were examples of wives, and these were examples of wives that are trying to make it work, right? Yeah. With men. And we're all fucking human, and we're all just trying to, like, we're all spirits having a human experience, and we're just trying to make it right. So to do that together with somebody it's even harder, right? Because it's like I am just trying to figure my shit out, and now I'm trying to figure my shit out with you, yeah. You know,
and your shit.
So now I'm trying to figure out my shit and your shit, exactly. So that's rough. But to be in a space, in a room where everybody is on the same accord, and they've all come together to try to make this shit work. I like that. And
it goes back to one of those things that we always talk about is finding your tribe, finding your group, and being able to be around people who, you know, not necessarily have the same issues, but understand what you're going through, right? So
like-minded, right?
Yeah. So when you have a conversation with someone and they have zero understanding of what you're talking about, there's no experience share, right? And that's what you look forward to. And even with your friends, like one of the reasons why we have friends is so we can share experiences, because our friends are kind of going through the things that we're going through. And unfortunately, your friends evolve because of you go through different things and you evolve. So you have new friends. So now you in a remote place and you're talking about your relationship, you're sharing about some really uncomfortable and awkward conversations about your relationship, which people don't like talking about. And but yet
that's the work. Putting in the work.
That is, but yet we do that with family members, right? So imagine, you know, couples retreat and having conversations is not you going to your mother and complaining about your spouse, right? Like how she ain't shit, he ain't shit, whatever the case may be, and then getting advice from your mother. Because if you look at it, like how we just said, we don't have examples of what a good, a healthy relationship look like. You're getting advice from the generation, like the generational circle that you're a part of, right? So you have to break outside of the box and go to a remote location and go outside of where your comfort zone is to build on that. And that's one thing about a couples retreat is it usually is in a remote location, a nice location to where you get out of your normal and you have not only an experience of talking with people and trying to figure out your relationship, but you also have this opportunity to be in the environment that you're not used to.
Right. It makes you, it forces you to kind of be in this different space.
Exactly.
In a different place, mentally, right? So it's like mentally you're like, okay, wait a minute. I'm used to this, and now it's like, oh wait, I'm kind of put in this situation where I'm forced to be with my mate sometimes, and then even work on myself. And then, like, what are some of the things that we did on the retreat that was pretty cool? I say we did the scavenger hunt.
Scavenger hunt was off the chain. Yeah.
That was fun. We did that biking. Now I was fresh off my surgery, so I did it with an electric bike, and that was pretty fun.
You had the fastest bike of the group.
So I got to like speed up everybody, like fast on the big mountain. I was like, "What big mountain?" So that was pretty fun. And then we went hiking. We did a thing where we prepared a lunch for each other.
Yeah, that was dope.
So it's like for each other. I know I made my own lunch, and that's okay.
Yeah. Now, so going back to that, the premises of that was make a lunch for your spouse and create it as how they would want it created, right? Which was like great content.
Yes.
You make everything for me, and you know exactly. And in reality, you know, being honest, you do it better. So like
I love you.
so like if I make a sandwich, well, I make sandwiches better. That's the only thing. But if you do something that doesn't require bread, then it's pretty. Like it's easy to eat. You roll it like you do everything with your hands very meticulously.
Well, thank you,
right?
baby.
And you have a lot of patience with that. So
thank you.
So that content was just like, oh fuck, this is easy. Like we're gonna beat everybody in this. and then if I make you something for you, you're like, all right, just give me half of what you think is half. And I'm like, all right, cool, I got you on that. But it ain't gonna be pretty. It's just like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
this is what it is.
Yeah.
So the making of the lunch was a pretty easy moment for us, and then the cooking together. So we had to cook together.
Was fun too. For us, it's a little rough. The cooking together. It's only because of Tommy. I say that's your issues. I'm sorry.
Only because of me.
It's your issues.
What is my issue?
You don't like me telling you stuff.
Nobody likes being told what to do in the kitchen. I can be told
if I don't know what the hell I'm doing. If I'm a novice in the kitchen, tell me. You know what I mean? Like tell me what I don't know. And you're someone who doesn't cook, so I'm like, okay. But I mean, you totally don't like my advice, so I stopped giving it to you. I mean, it's erupted to very, 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 very many arguments.
Arguments, yeah. One of the arguments before the retreat. And I was like, go sit your ass down on the couch somewhere.
And I'm like, you don't even know how to cook, but okay. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, and the reason I say he doesn't know how to cook is because
I know how to cook.
In the beginning of our relationship, there was so many burnt things and so many, I was just like, yeah, babe, no. And then he just said, like, how I do things a little different. And I'd be like,
I eat burnt things.
I know. And then all of us as a family, we were like, yeah, we don't really want
I like everything
that Dad
well
cooks.
done.
Like, yeah, So with that being said, I'd be like, so give just not a like a command, but just an advice. Like, babe, you might want to cut those sausages in half. And he'd be like, I know how to cut those sausages in half. And I'm like, oh, but you know, I watch Bill Murray, so I know that there's a special place where that anger comes from. It's not from me, but it's a special place. So us cooking together. Which is funny, but
was growth.
It was a growth for us, right?
Yes.
I mean, and who would have even thunk that we had come from a place that, you know, cooking
2 weeks
together.
ago we argued about cooking.
Yeah. And then we're like, oh, we got to cook together. We look at each other like, okay, this is going to be interesting.
Well, because my cooking is I cook with love.
Here we go.
Right? So because I cook with love, it takes a little time. And I'm slow. So I did what I was good at, and you did what you was good at. So I seasoned the meat. I cooked the meat. You chopped everything up. You rolled it because you got the way your hands roll things. You know, you just got that magic. And what happened? We had the best dish.
We had the best dish.
Shout out to the Walkers.
Chef
was like,
when we work together.
Yeah, 1,000%. We make good music. Chef was like, yo, your dish. Thumbs up.
He's like,
that's
the best one. Yeah.
I like this. So, and we're saying it right now because I don't think anybody else knows we had the best dish. So, if you was there on the retreat with us, I'm sorry, but we had the best dish. So we talked about going on a couples retreat and being in a remote location and experiencing the environment, and you don't have to be in a weird space to go on a couples retreat. And I asked you, do you recommend it? And for me, I feel like, because I said, you know, in 2009 when the movie came out, we were 1 year married. I think you should go on a couples retreat as soon as possible. You know, and it maybe if you're not financially capable of going on a couples retreat, because it is not a cheap thing to do.
True.
It does cost a little coin for a good retreat, right? So just, you know, kind of put it in the back of your head, kind of like one of those bucket list goals. Hey, we need to go on a couples retreat. Let's figure out what couples retreat will be in a great, you know, area where we would like to go. It could be Hawaii, Tahiti, Alaska. You know, just don't go to a couples retreat in your neighborhood. Don't go down to the church and say we're on a couples retreat at your local church.
Yeah, go somewhere where you have to be away from everything, definitely.
Where you got an unbiased opinion. You know, you got, you know, people that you don't know in a room, and you could share, you could experience share, and be open and receive at the same time.
And be able to give. So you don't marry someone you could live with. You marry somebody you could live without.
Damn, dropping profound quotes on me. That's pretty dope. And one thing about when you're married somebody that you live without, how did you get to marriage? It was from dating.
Yeah.
Right, so you dated each other.
And then you married him because you couldn't live without him.
Exactly, and we recorded a podcast talking about, we had a guest on, Robin Vaughn, who's talked about kissing. Right, so when you stop kissing and you stop saying I love you and you stop doing the little things, you stop doing the little things that you did when you were first together. So if dating is what got you to marriage, the only way to keep being married is you got to keep dating. Like keep dating the same person.
That makes sense. I used to.
I got to throw that disclaimer out there.
That's a good disclaimer to put in there. Bro.
Right. So keep dating each other. Make it fun. Make it spontaneous. But highly recommend doing a couples retreat. And if you want to know what couples retreat we was on, by all means shoot us an email. We want to we'll put that content out there, and we don't mind sharing because it was a great experience.
Yes,
and shout out to the host that put it on.
Yes,
because it was a really dope experience. But explore and learn. That's really what it comes down to. If you want a lasting relationship, you know what I mean. It's explore and learn each other, just like how you would do in business.
Yeah,
just like how you do at work.
Yeah, real talk. My favorite love story is ours.
Oh, you about to make me cry.
Every day I'm with you, I love you more. I love you, baby.
I love you too. This is life is shit. Do us a favor. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe. Leave a review. Let us know what your thoughts are. That's the only way that this show is going to be successful. And we appreciate you. Talk with you next time.